A lot of these tech companies, all their income is from advertising. They give away the products and they have advertisers. But if the consumers can't afford to buy products that the advertisers are advertising, then all that ad revenue goes away. And a lot of these tech companies that have these really high multiples, they're going to come crashing down.
Crypto family, welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros coming back at you with another video today. If you're new, we come out with new Bitcoin, crypto, finance related content. And in today's clip, we're going to be talking about Peter Schiff, and he's going to be talking about why we're going to be going into a big depression and who is causing it. Make sure to watch this one to the end and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. The Bitcoin Bros do not agree with Peter Schiff. We do not believe we are going into a recession, but it's always great to get different viewpoints. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and play the clip.
All right, well, there's a lot there, but I think the most pertinent thing that people need to understand before they make any investments, really, particularly now, is inflation and the impact that inflation is going to have on the decisions that they make on their savings and their investment. Because inflation is probably a bigger threat now than it's ever been, and therefore it's a even bigger factor in determining everything that we do, and ultimately what the rewards are going to be, or the returns from your investments. And the reason I think that inflation is a bigger problem now than it's been in the past is because of the fiscal predicament that most of the major governments have, put themselves in. And the fact that all politicians, unfortunately, and this is a fatal flaw in democracy, is that politicians, first and foremost, care about themselves and their own political career and their own reelection. That's what they do for a living. They are career politicians. And so, like anybody else, they're concerned about perpetuating their career. And most people who are in politics, they really enjoy it. I mean, they like all the perks that come with it. You get a lot of respect if you're United States. You're a congressman, you're a senator. It's a career that a lot of people would aspire to. And once you get there, once you get to Washington, and I'm sure this is true in every country in Europe and all around the world, that you like it, right? You like the lifestyle, you like the prestige that comes with being a government official. So you want to stay there, right? Well, how do you stay in office? Well, you got to keep getting elected. In the United States, we get elections every 2 years, right? So politicians are very concerned about, the polls, and they're constantly got their finger in the air, seeing where the winds are blowing, and they don't want to say anything or do anything that might jeopardize their reelection. And of course, one of the most important things that you need to get reelected is you need a lot of money. You need to spend money on advertising, on television, which is expensive. And so you tend to cater to donors, whether it's a corporation or a union, anyone that can provide a lot of money. You need to do things that are in their interest. And so what is usually sacrificed by these politicians is the national interest. Doing what's right for the country is secondary to doing what's right for themselves, which unfortunately we have now fiat currency, where governments don't need gold, real money. They could just create paper money out of thin air, right? They could just manufacture it digitally, and there it is. That enables governments to spend without collecting taxes. They run these large deficits, and they're able to print the difference and hand out that money so they can give people money without also taking the money away. And now they don't mind taking money away from rich people because, there's not as many of those, right? So they don't lose as many votes, although certain rich people can donate a lot to their campaigns, which often, prevents the taxes from getting too high. But inflation, you asked for the definition. Inflation is really just another tax, because governments create inflation. And inflation is also probably one of the most misunderstood words in the English language, and deliberately so. I think governments around the world kind of led the campaign to redefine inflation. So if you go back to the origin of the word, and if you have a dictionary, even from the 1980s, a Webster's dictionary, you'll get the real definition of inflation. So inflation is an expansion of the money supply. That's all it is. Deflation is a contraction of the money supply. So if you even think about the word inflate, inflate is to expand, like a balloon. If you fill a balloon with air, it expands. So with inflation, what's being expanded is the money supply. And who expands the money supply? Governments. Or they do it generally now through a central bank, but it's the central banks of these governments that are expanding the money supply. Now, when you expand the money supply, you have more money. Well, if you have more money, but you don't have more stuff to buy, well, the price of everything goes up. That's just basic economic supply and demand. The more money there is, the less each individual monetary unit is worth. And now prices go up. Now, what governments have done is they've said, prices going up, that's inflation. No, it's not. That is the consequence of inflation, because prices don't expand, prices go up and down as a result of inflation. Now, what happens is sometimes prices don't go up, but you still have inflation. And that's because without that inflation, prices would have gone down. And if prices don't go down because government creates inflation, that still represents a loss to the people, because they lost the benefit of lower prices. Because in capitalism, the tendency of capitalism is to reduce prices. That's why it's so good, because you keep coming up with better ways of producing, more efficient ways, economies of scale. If you look at the CPI, for example, in the United States in 1800, and then you look at the same CPI in 1900, and they have the data, prices were cut in half. You had a 100-year period where you had deflation, or the money, or prices falling for 100 years, and that was a good thing. All the politicians now tell us that we need prices to go up, that we must have inflation, the way they define it, of 2% a year. Why? Why do prices have to go up every year? Why can't they go down every year? Isn't that better if stuff gets cheaper? If the cost of living goes down? Of course it is. But these politicians are trying to sell this lie to the public that rising prices are somehow necessary for prosperity.
And thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you found any value in that one, make sure to hit the like button. Like I said earlier, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Love to hear from you guys. But my name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.